Hello and welcome to another edition of Impact TV, the first of 2016. I'm Kevin Hilton, the CEO of Impact, and I'm joined with the General President of the Ironworkers, Eric Dean.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How are you doing this year?
I'm doing really well. Started out with a great family thing. My grandson was born on New Year's Eve, so
congratulations.
really started the new year off well for our family.
Fabulous. Yeah. And of course, your Bears and my Lions will be watching the Super Bowl from the same, large screen TV room, right?
They're polishing their golf clubs as we speak. Maybe even use them.
It's just the way it rolls every year, Chicago, Detroit. So this is the opening Impact TV episode of 2016, as I just mentioned. And let me ask you this. Let's begin with the end in mind. What does December 31, 2016 look like to Eric Dean and the Ironworkers?
Well, this year, the Ironworkers are going to have a convention where we elect our annual slate, or our every 5 years, we empower a slate of officers to set the direction. And at the convention, there's many resolutions and constitutional amendments that set the tone for the direction that the International is going to take. And so that's this August. There's a lot of preparation from the staff. Every local has to have an election, seat its delegates, and then the delegates will speak their mind at the convention. And that's kind of the democratic process that ensures that the members' voices are heard. They elect delegates to go to the convention. At the convention, they sit on various committees. Ideas get bubbled up, and then they get ratified or rejected there. And then there's an election of slate of officers.
So that occurs sometime this summer.
It's in August, and it's every 5 years. It's how we ensure it's our the local union gets to seat its delegates and elect its officers. The district councils do, and so too does the membership.
Any surprises expected?
We had a whole slurry of retirements, so I had to fill a lot of vacancies. And if people declare their candidacy, we'll find out. I haven't heard of any overt candidacies yet, but there's no surprising. It's a fair and free world, and people are free to choose whatever office they seek.
Indeed. So let's talk a little bit about the construction industry in 2016. The Construction Financial Management Association does an annual poll, and it's very telling about our industry. And there's a few points that I just picked up the other day I thought were very telling. So the non-residential construction people, our world, said that 34% of those construction owners intend to open up a new office in 2016 in a new location. 63% anticipate higher revenue this year, while backlogs are up, and this is a lot of the things we've been hearing. And finally, gross profit was expected to be down slightly. What do you think that means to the ironworkers and their contractors?
Well, we are seeing the membership reflective of that. We're seeing a lot of new apprentices, probationary members, and trainees, along with journeymen are up. So we measure ourselves, typically, we take measurements in the year of the convention. It's the easiest place to put a line in the sand and mark the membership and judge growth based on the elected officials at the time. The economy has a lot to do with it. The leadership has a lot to do with it. But we are actually seeing everything bubble up where private capital has come to the market. We're seeing some public sector spending. You've just seen a transportation bill. Paying for it's going to be a little tricky, but we're seeing all things coming. The energy sector is kind of shifting. Other pieces that were powerful and strong are now shifting to other sources, but we're still seeing energy as a big piece of our piece of business, along with private spending, government spending, and it doesn't surprise me that those numbers would say that we're seeing all our matrix going up.
So, getting closer to home, if you will, with Impact, we've divided North America up into 13 different regions. And the Board of Trustees at its meeting last October, as you'll recall, indicated that each RAB would come up with a strategic plan. How do you see that playing out, at least for the first year, Eric?
Well, upon the formation of Impact, one of the things that President Wise and Bill Brown thought would be useful was the establishment of the regional advisory boards by taking little sub-economies, industrial areas, big city areas, and amalgamating those areas together so that they could make a decision, say, different. You can't have a national plan and paint with a big brush. So those regional advisory boards, they can really tailor, say, Eastern Canada from Western Canada and Central Canada. You can tailor the needs specific to your, it might be recruiting in one area, it might be training deficiencies, might be training improvements, it might be contractor recruitment, it might be a migration of all of the above, it might be getting the message out in marketing. So those regional advisory boards, what happened was we allowed 13 regional advisory boards, and each one has their own personality based on the economy and the geographical region. But what we wanted was we wanted a model business plan where everyone runs off of the same playbook, and by formulating a business plan, you assess what your market share is, what are open areas where the signatory contractors or the local unions aren't getting any employment out of, being able to identify priorities. And as I spoke before, it could be simply resupplying the workforce. It could be growing into markets or industrial facilities that have been closed or their doors and trying to knock on those doors. It might be trying to expand and gain. But all those are with one single common goal of impact, and it's more jobs for our members and more jobs for our employers. And when our employers enjoy more man hours and more work, their profits go up, and significant or in sync with that, when our members get more employment, usually when there's more employment, we can bargain for better wages and benefits and working conditions.
Right. I think this is going to be looked back on as a very, it's going to be hard to discern it at the time, but it's going to be looked on as a very historic year in the events, because as I see it playing out for our contractors and certainly all the ironworker affiliates, a chance to really plan for success.
Well, to go back to your original question, we started the regional advisory boards, good idea. The regional advisory boards established themselves, and each one keeps 20 cents on the dollar, but we were finding disparity on how they were running, how they were allocating their money, and so all we wanted was unified direction. And then, the Ironworkers Union, we developed key performance indicators. And the key performance indicators are matrix that we chose, the successful unions have. And so we want to use impact to help the local unions, help the employers by targeting those key performance indicators. And a lot of those they're in the area of training right. and marketing and outreach. And so now what we're doing is we're just unifying our national program and inserting it and asking each one to come back to us and identify what their priorities and their needs are.
So there's still a lot of autonomy at the regional level.
Oh, there's 100% autonomy. Well, we wanted was some consistency in the mindset and the approach.
So we've talked a lot in this space about telling our story. In a couple of weeks, you and the contractor co-chairman Bill Brown of Ben-Hur are going to address the Construction Users Roundtable. Why do you do that?
Oftentimes, we're one of the few labor unions that regularly attend, or at least through our labor management group through Impact, that regularly attend the Construction Users Roundtable. Many people thought it was, and still think, it's business driven. They have a deaf ear to us. And I would say persistence has paid off. We are not getting all the work of the major industrial users and owners, but if we don't have the conversation, we can't find out the obstruction or finding a pathway in for our signatory employers. Are they going to instantly and blankly turn their work over? I'm not naive. Right. But by telling the successful stories and telling it not from the labor or union members' side, but having the employers tell the story as, hey, look, I can come on, I'm profitable, I can execute your project, and this is the workforce I chose to use and choose to use, and we're able to come in and take work and get it done in the requisite amount of time so your plants can get up and operating, and it's resonating. And we've picked up jobs, and one successful job leads to a second successful job, and we're migrating employers into low-density areas as a result of the fostering a relationship. Have we tipped the scales overnight? No. Right. But we are definitely seeing slow and significant growth, both in regaining market share, in increasing hours, and increasing membership even in the low-density areas by attending. And we're also able to tell the story to those people. They have a predetermined idea, and they've been deceived as to labor's past and things that we've done 3, 4, 5 decades ago that they still believe the prevalent path forward. And when we demonstrate to them that we've been on many other projects, there's been no worksite disruptions, no jurisdictional walk-offs, that we're there to deliver the job and get the job done, and the professionalism that our members have and that our contractors insist on, they're listening. And given the fact that all the baby boomers left at once, both open shop and closed shop, it gives us another bite at the apple. Are we eating the whole apple? No. But we can eat more and more. And growing market share is one of our goals. And it's for our employers too.
No question. The other piece there that it really surprised me very much over the years, because we've both been to a number of these events, is the just absolute fact that most industrial owners, the vast majority, have no idea of how the iron workers in particular recruit, train, and deliver highly skilled, highly safe individuals to their job site. Just no conception thereof.
One of the things by attending the CURT meeting that we're able to do, the owners oftentimes don't hire the construction contractors and the middlemen. So they're listening to people tell stories about the labor union, and the owner doesn't have a direct knowledge, and they're unaware of all the training that we do ongoing and continuously. And they have asked some of the large-scale, either double-breasted contractors, the EPC contractors, and folks, how come these folks aren't in? I've toured their schools, and it's resonating.
Yes.
But the conversation never is had with a procurement of construction. Say, I don't want to name names and leave someone in or out, but a major automaker, for years, we never had a rapport. By going to these meetings, we're able to have a rapport and have some dialogue and talk about places where, how come we get all the work in this regional area, but we don't get any work out of this regional area? And they get back to us with answers. And then we've been invited to bid in other areas that we haven't been invited previously. Sure. So for me, it's forging relationships. But I think that they expect the general president to tell them we're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when signatory employers tell them, look, this is the workforce I rely on, and they make me profitable, and they'll make you profitable. And that resonates with the owners.
Well, 2016 is a year, if you believe all the industry knowledge that you read, is a year where there's a skilled labor shortage. And obviously we have the bricks and mortar infrastructure to, that sounds like an infomercial, but it's just a fact.
Well, my January president's page and my February president's page are pretty much devoted to those two subjects. One talks about our apprenticeship and training and the infrastructure and the capacity that we have. Now, from the 2011 convention, I believe we're up about, I think the number is 7.9% in apprentices, trainees, and probationary members that are going to school. That doesn't count all the journeymen that are going back for retraining for welding certifications and various safety certifications and OSHA requisite courses and the new certifications that come online. So the amount of training that we're delivering, we have the capacity. And I told that story through the January president's page. I don't think the January magazine's out yet. And the February one I wrote about the importance of the labor management and having these conversations with our first of all, our signatory contractors are our best friends. And so through Impact, we agree on about 85%. Sometimes there's 15% we're probably never going to agree on. But on the 85%, why not go shoulder to shoulder with our signatory employers, our best supporters, and talk outwardly to the owners? And that's one of the goals. My goal for the international is to grow market share and to grow membership. And it's not a membership drive where we're selling books. It's simply getting more of the unskilled workers into the union and rounding off their skills so that we can bargain with greater bargaining power. When we have more numbers and more members, we are able to go to the bargaining table with a bigger voice. And the contractors are able to pass that along to the customer. We're not looking to drive up wages beyond the cost of what the market will bear. We're looking to be fairly compensated. And I think for the whole downturn since 2008, our members been taking it on the chin. So too have our employers. The hours have diminished. So if our members have worked half the hours in 09 and 010, so too were our members. So, but there's a parallel now where some of those profits got to come back and the members got to be adequately paid. And I think by using Impact, many of the employers don't disagree with that. They just need to make sure that we don't price ourselves out of the market through our collective bargaining process in what the market will bear. And the greatest way to demand that is to have more market share and get rid of the unfair competition. That way everyone's bidding on the same playing field.
Well, we've devoted a heck of a lot of time and resources to reaching out to those contractors, educating them about the opportunities to get involved with us and dialogue with those CURT owners and industrial owners in North America, as well as business skills that we continually offer around the country. So to sum up the organizational goals for the ironworkers: grow, follow the strategic plan to growth, recapture market share.
Yeah, and keep training, keep our members safe. I mean, safety is paramount.
Always.
Safety is at the front of everything we do, keeping our members so they go home intact every day. And by delivering training and by building the power and base of the union, also we want to build our stable of signatory contractors. We're not just seeing members who are baby boomers leave, we're seeing baby boomer signatory employers heading for the door. So we got to make sure there's enough employers to go get the work and the market share to employ our members. We're locked at the hip.
That's a good point. In early February in your hometown, Chicago, we offer FMI succession planning session. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of our contractors that have gray hair like I do and are looking to hand it off. So we're trying to facilitate that marriage or that handoff so that we keep them in business for many generations to come.
That's for sure. And they're lofty goals, but they're easily obtainable. And we have a great staff. You have a great staff. The Impact staff is very dedicated towards these goals. The Ironworkers staff is unified and resolute in what we need to do. It's winning the hearts and minds of the local unions and the members that organizing, coupled with apprenticeship training, coupled with a business plan and fostering and keeping an eye on not only what work you do, but how do you grow your market.
Yeah. Well, General President Wise talked continually about doubling market share, and we still have a number of years to do that. It was a 10-year plan, but and I'm not saying we're on a straight line trajectory right now, but we're getting there, and we're going in the right direction.
We believe, General President Wise became president in 2011, but we believe that prior to 2008, through the formation of Impact, through the establishment of the standards of excellence and the KPI, key performance indicators, by doing some self-assessment and holding the international holding its local unions and its members accountable, by asking accountability at all levels, that we were on a really upward trajectory in comparison to the rest of the building trades. 2008 was a kick in the gut for everyone across the board, all building trades. But we actually believe that we retracted. I sound like one of these investment managers that lost less than the downturn in the market. But I do believe that we're in the best position. Our locals survived. We asked them to have the adequate resources. And by having Impact on an indexed funding, we've been able to provide these things through the worst downturn of our economy. And we set our sights when we came out of the 2011 convention with an indexed funding that allows us to do the good things that we're doing, both from the labor management side and then from the labor union side as well. And so I think we're on the precipice of real big growth.
We live in exciting times. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to pay attention to your next Ironworker magazine, which contains the Impact Annual Report. It'll be mailed out to all our contractors as well. And of course, at the end of February, we always host an industry event. It's the North American Ironworker Impact Annual Conference, and it's grown every year. And it's really morphed into a situation where you've got safety, you've got the industrial owner community, you've got the contractors, the CMs, and of course, we're blessed with the ironworkers.
Well, imitation is the finest form of flattery. So everyone that Kevin said, many of the other labor building trades unions are asking to come. They want to find out what's the secret of our success in getting these owners, because they're raving about the attention to safety, the development, and the last thing that I kind of left out of my previous remarks is everyone is blowing the boogeyman of we're going to have a craft worker shortage. We have the capacity
Right.
to meet the craft demands if we're given the opportunity for the work. If they heap it on us because they have no other alternative, we're going to have limited success. But if we work in partnership and they allow us to grow into the market, I think we're poised with all our training centers to deliver not only new recruits, but retrained recruits from the workforce.
Well, 2016 is going to be a very, very exciting year for us. We're going to see growth and success. So thank you again for the first edition of Impact TV in 2016. And we look forward to seeing you next month where we talk about more exciting issues surrounding growth and planning for success. Again, I'm Kevin Hilton, the CEO of Impact.